Greg, Maya, and Betty are not experts, nor do they claim to be. They're just a bunch of nerds who enjoy talking about movies, shows, and current events. So sit back, grab a coffee, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of All Queued Up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of All Queued Up, your review podcast for streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, etc., etc. I'm your host, Greg Dietz. With me always is Maya Don Fisher and Betty Badger. How are you two doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Maya?
Yeah, I'm here. We'll get into it. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Greg?
Doing all right. I'm kind of looking forward to something today. I think I told you both about it a little bit, but I like video game tournaments and stuff like that. And there's this group of guys that I watch that are really funny on Twitch called Djibouti. They've been streaming on Twitch for a long time, and they wanted to do their own fighting tournament. So they about 2 years ago they started a thing called Jabuvo, and you actually have to sign up for it. There's actual prizes, but they're doing Super Smash Brothers, Tekken 7, and Dragon Ball Fighters, and they're doing all that today. And it's a whole fucking like.
So that was it.
That's what I took my day off for, because it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. Today, guys, we're gonna get into some deep topics. We're gonna talk about some stuff that we need to get off our chest and whatnot, and I think it's important. But first, I have a little game I want to play with you guys. It is called Olympian or Porn Star. I'm gonna give you the name of somebody who's real, and you have to tell me if you think they're a porn star or an Olympian. You guys ready?
Are there any that fall under both?
No, they're not.
That's a shame.
I also didn't make this game. I found it on TikTok, oddly enough. All right, so your first one is Rob Longstaff.
Oh, that's a porn star.
That's an Olympian.
That is a porn star.
Is it?
Yep. Your next one is.
Watch porn.
Well,
I don't either.
Well, do you guys watch the Olympics? Because I don't think you do that either.
No, but they make the media far more often than the fucking porn stars. I've known a porn star. There was one in my expecting group when I was pregnant 17 years ago. Really nice girl, but yeah.
Well, that's what I love about this game, is because I don't know very many people that remember porn star names, even if they watch porn stars. Or sorry, porn stars, even if they watch porn. And B, I don't know anybody who knows an Olympian name unless they're super fucking famous. So I thought this game was absolutely fucking brilliant. I was like, wow, I don't know. The next one is Steele Johnson.
Oddly enough, I think that's an Olympian.
It sounds like a porn star name.
Is that your guess, porn star?
Yeah.
It is an Olympian.
I'd be so bad.
Fanny Deep.
Oh,
that's got to be a porn star.
Porn star all day.
That would be horrible if somebody named their kid that.
That is a porn star.
Okay, thank God.
Dong Dong. D-O-N-G. Just to clarify for anyone watching the podcast.
Dong Dong.
Is it coming through? Yeah, Dong Dong. Oh, there it is. Dong Dong.
Dong Dong is an Olympian.
I'm going to go porn star.
Dong Dong is an Olympian.
Oh, I missed one.
Your next one is Liam Tancock.
Yeah,
Olympian.
No, that's a porn star.
That is watching the video, because that is an Olympian.
Wow.
This next one, if you know the artist, it's not like this is either a like I said, a porn star Olympian. His name is Richard Cheese. And I know we all know of Richard Cheese, the artist who does the crooner version of like songs and whatnot. I don't know if you don't know him; he's great. But yeah, Richard Cheese, porn star, Olympian.
Olympian.
I don't know, but this is porn star.
All right, let me continue the video because I didn't do that like an idiot. Also, his name would be for short Dick Cheese. So there's that.
That's why I said porn star.
Porn star. So porn star.
Dick Cheese.
All right, your last one is Jack Butland. Jack Butland.
That's an Olympian.
That's a porn star.
Olympian.
Well, if you ever don't make it as an Olympian, you've always got porn to fall back on.
Oh yeah, to that video I was like, oh my god, this is a great game. I love this so much. The other game that they did that I saved was let me see if I can find it real quick. It was Wrestler or Porn Star, but
that would be hard too.
It was not for me because I recognized a lot of the wrestler names. So Jason Steele, Wrestler or Porn Star?
Wrestler.
I would guess wrestler because it sounds too mundane for a porn star.
It's a wrestler. Barrett Long.
That's a porn star.
Pretty sure it's not.
It is a porn star.
Oh.
Bear It Long.
Roddy Piper.
I mean, shit, that's one of the greatest ever.
Right.
I would assume that's a wrestler.
Yeah. 100%.
don't know Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Rowdy Piper. If you say it real fast, it just sounds like Roddy.
Roddy.
Have you ever seen the movie They Live?
Yeah.
Betty? Yeah, the main actor in that is Roddy Piper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a horribly wonderful little movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Next one is Balls Mahoney.
Oh, Balls.
That's
Balls
a porn star.
No, Balls was an ECW wrestler, and he was famous for hitting people with a chair and people chanting balls every time he hit them with the chair.
Yep. That's why this game was easy for me because I was like, oh, I know half these wrestlers.
Yeah.
Jim Steele.
Jim Steele, wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just going to let Maya answer because I don't know.
Jim Steele is a porn star, not a wrestler. You might be thinking of a different guy with the last name Steele, but Jim Steele is a porn star.
I probably am. Holy shit.
Cody Rhodes.
That's Dusty's son.
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh god damn it, wrestler. And the last one is Mickey G.
That's also a wrestler.
That's a porn star.
No, there's a wrestler called Mickey G. I'm sure.
I mean, Google it, see if you find it.
Oh well.
Yeah, I thought I was like, this game is fucking funny. So yeah, one of the things we're going to talk about today, like we said, the conversation was going to get a little heavy because something that was brought up in the public eye big time here very recently was the story of Simone Biles, how she was having mental health issues, wanted to back out of the competition to not hinder her team from winning a medal. A lot of people said, great. That's a fucking smart thing to do. You're a mature, thoughtful person. Take care of yourself. You thought of your team first. Like, you're fantastic, right? I don't know very many people that said otherwise, except for like some conservative assholes. But this had a more important, to me, and I'm sure you two will agree, connotation to it, and that was the seriousness of mental health. There's a show that I watch. I highly recommend the show called Ted Lasso on Apple TV. In the latest episode, not to do too much spoilers, but in episode 1 of season 2, one of the characters gets what commonly known as the yips, which are basically what Simone Biles went through with the twisties. It's a player's mental health gets so out of whack that they can't perform like they used to. And there's a great line. It's a jokey line, of course, but there's a great line in the episode where one of the characters asked Ted, who is from the Midwest, how do you feel about therapy? To which he responded, Midwest skepticism and general apathy. Why? Why do you ask? And I love that little line because it represents how I feel America responds to mental health. If you aren't doing so hot in your head and you need to seek help, that by seeking help somehow comes off as a weakness to so many people. This is categorically fucking bullshit. I was very happy to... Go ahead.
I was going to say, hell, that's the reason why we didn't have an episode last week is because of my mental health. Right. I was having a very, very difficult week, and it's carried over into this week. And I met with my therapist yesterday. Mental health is no joke, and I take it very seriously. And that's, sorry to segue into that, but yeah.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, here very, very recently in April, my family was met with the horrible, horrible outcome of some terrible mental health that's not addressed. You both know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And have friends who've experienced it. I think both of you experienced it. It's so disheartening to me when friends and family of mine are struggling and they are afraid to express that struggle. They bottle it up because they don't want to met with fucking pussy, just fucking man up.
It's all in your head.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
It's all in your head. You just need to get outside.
It's fucking stupid. I hate that so much. So, again, that's why I was very happy that Simone very openly was like, no, I'm struggling right now, and I'm going to take time away.
I think I saw this morning, too, that she posted after all this was over that her aunt had died while she was doing, and of course she got the twisties. I mean, her aunt passed away. That would mess with anybody's head,
Yeah.
I mean, it was very disheartened to see how a lot of the conservative news pundits were reacting to this, because they come from that school of thought that depression isn't real, PTSD isn't real, mental health issues aren't real. All you need is Jesus and get right with God and you'll be fine. And that's not how this works. I wish it did. I mean, things would be so much easier if it did, but that's not how this works.
I was so pissed off 2 days ago, I think it was, when one of the Capitol Police committed suicide from his PTSD from January 6th. And
another one,
a third one now. And the thing that sucked about it, the thing that pissed me off was a lot of people, conservatives mainly, were trying to play it off as they were going to do it before January 6th anyway. That was just, that they weren't really suffering from PTSD because it wasn't that bad.
No, they have no idea. They have no idea what that person went through. Nobody does, Nobody can sit there and confidently say, especially not knowing the man, that, oh, he was planning this before January 6th. Something that traumatic, that can lead to those kinds of consequences. And these people want to just shove it under a rug like it doesn't exist. Like, if we don't talk about it, it's not a problem. No, it's still a problem, and it just gets bigger while you sit there fucking ignoring it.
Yeah. Somebody said, and I thought this was very poignant. If you suffer an injury in your body, somewhere like, let's say, your shoulder or your knee, the usual prescription is to exercise it carefully, of course, over time, and strengthen that muscle. How is your brain not the same? Explain to me how your brain is not the same.
Because we don't like to think that there could be something wrong with us in the brain. Because, again, those negative connotations have carried on for so long. It's like, how have we not gotten over this yet? And how is it we still know people who are afraid to go to therapy, even though it'd be the best thing for them, simply because the stigma that surrounds attending therapy or being diagnosed with a mental health condition? I mean, it's like,
it's because it ties into that the person thinks that they're weak.
But there's also the financial aspect of it too. Even if they did want to get help, do they have the income to afford it or the insurance to cover the cost? You know, that's another side of it too. The healthcare system in America is so fucked.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
And I mean, a lot of mental health services aren't covered under insurance.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I have the best insurance in our area under the ACA, and it doesn't cover children's mental health services. And that's fucking insane to me. It's like, you do realize that children can have issues with mental health just like adults. You know, this makes no sense to me.
Hell, that's when my mental health issues started.
Oh, you know, teenagehood. Yeah, I mean, especially
prior to that.
Yeah. But teenagehood, those hormones ramp things up 10 times more, you know, and that's when it's like, oh, we have a problem here, you know. But yeah, it's like in our area, if you don't have insurance and you can't afford to pay, there is a community service center that does mental health and behavioral services. But I wouldn't say they're the best.
Yeah.
By far. My experience with one therapist there was horrible. My experience with my second therapist was great, but he moved to Richmond, and so that ended. And then I got thrown at a psychiatrist for my diagnosis, and that woman was a straight up cunt. I can't put it any other way. She was a cunt. I was like, okay, you know, it really bothered me, so I just stopped going.
If it counts for anything, like, much like with other physicians, you kind of have to know your own body, know your own mind in order to work correctly. So the example that I want to give is that when I was a kid, I was probably 11, 12 years old, somewhere in there. And my mom had ended up getting carpal tunnel surgery. It fucked up so bad. Not the surgery fucked up, but it basically fucked up her ability to be a waitress, as that's the job that she was doing prior to everything. And we lived in this particular apartment complex, and she went through a really dark, deep depression, and she went and sought a therapist. This particular therapist, upon hearing that my brothers and I would wake up in the morning and wake her up, and she wasn't getting sleep, and because she wasn't sleeping at night, and then it was a bad thing, that to lock us in our room, like put a latch key on the fucking door on the outside so we couldn't leave our room until she woke up. Obviously my mom regrets this big time, but it was a legit thing that happened. And when talking to my mom nowadays about what happened in regards to that, it was 100% the therapist. That was what the therapist suggested.
Yeah, and then to her, the therapist was an authority figure. So therefore, if the authority figure said that it was okay to do this, then it was okay if she did this. It must be the right thing. I'm sure she had doubts, but a lot of people, when it comes to who we view as authority figures, we will listen to them more readily, even if they're giving us horrible advice, simply because they are authority figures, and we've been taught not to question. And that's why a lot of people don't like me, because I question the fuck out of everybody. I don't give a shit. But I mean,
I do the same thing, and hey, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Talking about locking you guys in your room, my mom used to do kind of that, except in reverse. She would lock us out of the house entirely so she could have quiet time, as she called it. And my brother, my younger brother, because he couldn't go inside to go to the bathroom, would shit his pants almost daily because she would lock us out, and she would always beat the fuck out of him for it. I have a lot of traumatic memories of my childhood. We were physically abused and emotionally abused.
I was just about to say that, like, my situation lasted 2 days. Yours lasted a lot fucking longer. So
mine lasted over 18 years. Until I got the fuck out of there. But yeah, it was horrible. My mom's a different person now, thankfully, or she wouldn't be allowed around my daughter. Yeah. But I still have a lot of trauma from that.
Absolutely.
But
I think that's another thing that
well, that's something I was going to bring up right fast. The traumatic memory I was telling you guys about last week. That segued into other traumatic memories that I have in my past. Mm-hmm. And it got really bad in the past week and a half. And immediately when I had my therapy session yesterday, my therapist could tell that something was off. And, I flat out told her what was going on, the tragic memories that I've been having and the effects they've been having, plus with things outside, with a couple of friends that they're going through right now. Just, my empathy for them and everything's just compounded. And she suggested that I try EMDR therapy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it or not.
Not off the top of my head.
It stands for eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing. It's a psychotherapy.
I know what that is.
Yeah, I'm going to start. I'm gonna try that on my next session to see if it can help me.
I've heard it can do some people a lot of good.
Yeah, it originated, treating military veterans for PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, from reports that I've read, it has a very positive outcome. So I'm hoping it can help me. And it's basically assigned to, like, you're not going to forget these traumatic events, but every time I remember these traumatic events, my emotions are so heavily attached to them and locked to them that I essentially shut down and have the same emotions, and I'm reliving it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And like when one triggers, it automatically links to another one and another one and another one, and it shuts me down. And it's essentially what I've been going through for the past week and a half. And she was telling me this is a way to unlock the emotions from the memory so you don't end up reliving it with the emotional sensations, those heightened state of emotions like you do. So I'm hoping that it works. Naturally I have skepticism about it, and she admitted to me that she had skepticism about it too. And then she actually underwent it, and she was surprised by the outcome, and she admitted that she was wrong about her initial thoughts. And she's like, don't watch any videos on it, just read about it, and if you're open to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally open to trying anything, So next month, and it'll be the 1 year anniversary that I've been seeing her. We've never really delved into unpacking my trauma or anything. I started seeing her because of me transitioning and all that, and she's been a wonderful help in every aspect so far. So but I'm not ashamed to talk about my mental health. I'm not I'm not.
Nor should anyone be.
Exactly. That's the point. I want to make is there's times when we need that help, and if this process works and helps me, that would be great. I'm not a trained professional, but a lot of my friends, they come to me to talk, and ask for advice. And I always say, I'm not a therapist, but I'm here to listen, etc. And a lot of times, if I think it's something, I'm like, honestly, you need to seek a trained professional who knows these things and knows how to help. Don't be ashamed by it. Don't be afraid to do it. If you have the means, by all accounts, get yourself the help that you need. But more people suffer in silence, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen at all. There's such a negative stigma, and it's frustrating.
Right. I completely agree. I think more and more people in the limelight, whether they're Olympians or movie actors or whatever, talk about seeing a therapist or talk about the normality of seeking mental health experts. We could maybe get to a point where people aren't ashamed of talking about it. I think that's something that bothers me a lot with friends, is because I personally am in the ballpark of every human being could benefit from seeing a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Because as I've explained to my dad and the studies that I've done personally, again, I'm no expert in any way, shape, or form, but everybody suffers from some form of trauma. In some way, fashion, or form, and it affects their personality.
Absolutely.
And when it comes down to a lot of Americans, there's also a sense of like you said, the skepticism on mental health stuff in general, but because it's two streets here. It's like, oh, you're a giant fucking pussy or whatever, and then there's the other side where it's like it doesn't actually work. And then they suffer in silence, but the silence is also, they don't even know that they could get help. And I think that's when people like Simone Biles or people who have a platform talk about their mental health and talk about that struggle openly and publicly. I think it's important for people to have that conversation with family members who may shun it, who may throw it away. I guess the best way that I can put this is like, for me, for example, if I happen to be having a conversation with a family member and we're talking about Simone Biles, one of the things I'm going to bring up is the necessity of her doing this, is the necessity of her needing to express this and be open and talk about it publicly, so that way it can be a sense of normalcy. Though for people like us, I'm glad that we have this platform. And I'm not talking to YouTube specifically. I'm talking to any of our listeners who may be okay right now, may be fine, or not suffering in silence, or are seeking a therapist. Tell people that you talk to who act like seeking a therapist is a form of weakness. Express to them that it's not. I'm doing okay right now mentally. I'm fine. My anxiety isn't as high. I'm not depressed. I'm fine right now. Will I be fine next week? Who knows? But when my dad sits there and says to me while we're, door dashing, I don't want to do anything to myself, but I don't want to be alive anymore. My first thing I say to him is contact your therapist. Straight up.
I know where that feeling comes from. I've expressed that exact phrasing of words.
Yeah.
Like, There was a time when I was going through some really dark shit. I had given up on living. I essentially, for 11 months, I didn't leave the house. I'd stopped taking care of myself. I wouldn't shower, but maybe once a month. I wouldn't. I just, I was so lethargic about everything and apathetic. It's just like, I'm not going to do anything to physically cause it, but I wouldn't give a fuck if I would died in my sleep. I wouldn't fucking care if I never woke up again. Because I viewed myself as a burden on others. I viewed my own self-worth was just completely gone and destroyed. So I get that. I understand that. And yeah, it is absolutely the best thing that he can do when you say contact your therapist, for him to contact his therapist. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I struggled. I didn't have a therapist at the time. I didn't have insurance at the time. And if I had gotten help much sooner, I think it would have benefited me. But I did a lot of damage to myself in that year. Some of it irreversible, to the point where, I wasn't going to put this out there, but I will now. When I say I stopped taking care of myself, I wouldn't brush my fucking teeth. And guess what? Most of my teeth started rotting out of my fucking head. Now I don't have real natural teeth. I have fake teeth. Got a beautiful smile, but it's a $20,000 fucking smile now. So,
yeah. Well, that is a very, common issue with depression, is not physically taking care of your body because you're mentally not able to. And I will be right back. My dog will not come in.
No worries.
Okay. The flip side of that, what it put my wife and daughter through, what Misty and Madison went through. Madison was witnessing this happen. She was only 5 years old. Well, guess what? My daughter has inherited my mental health issues. It sucks. It's unfortunate. She has therapy today. And a big part of me blames my fucking genetics on that. But here's the thing. She's young enough to know that it's okay to seek help. She's young enough to know that,
Well, she has two parents that give a fuck about her to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want anything. We don't want anything bad to happen. We want her to know there's always an outlet, and people need to realize there's always an outlet. Even if it's just talking to a friend, you think, oh, well, they're going to think I'm a pussy for doing this. Fuck it. Talk to them anyway. You never know.
I can say right now, the friends that I play games with, I was going through some shit last year around summertime. I didn't want to hop online. My anxiety was at an all-time high. I was depressed. I was crying every night. It was not good. And I just didn't want to get online. I just didn't want to play games. And Andy contacts me and he's like, "Hey man, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on?" I'm like, "I'm just struggling right now, dude. I have no interest in doing anything," or blah 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 blah. And he goes, "Dude, listen. I don't care if you don't play the game. Just get online and be in the party and talk to us." And I did. I fucking full on did, and it was a great time. I legit enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
There are a few things in my life that have helped me big time over the past few years. This podcast, namely. Even though, the podcast didn't go anywhere, doing stuff with Anthony helped me. Just fucking Fall Guys has helped me. Just because it's not that it's a distraction or that it completely takes away from the importance of what's going on, but it's just a nice, I don't have to think about certain things kind of moment,
It's a nice break with friends that allows for lots of laughs.
Yeah.
And that in itself is wonderful.
What are we talking about?
I was just talking about how certain things that have helped me. I also want to bring up that mental health isn't just anxiety and depression. It isn't just PTSD. My mom has developed agoraphobia, as I'm going to call it, over the course of this pandemic. And I don't mean I'm afraid to go into the grocery store, or I'm afraid to go into a public area that's crowded. I totally get that fear. That makes sense right now because of this virus. She's afraid to leave the front door.
Yeah, there's an anxiety of being out in public or in social situations, but it's completely different from agoraphobia, which is a whole other beast in itself. It's like most of us who, well, I'd say all three of us probably deal with this. I know I get anxious when I have to be out in public around a bunch of people. It doesn't matter if it's a pandemic going on or not. It just sets my nerves on fire. I don't like people, and it really bothers me. It's not agoraphobia because I have no problems leaving my house. Now, some other people I know in my family have problems leaving their house, and it's, they have more of something I would consider akin to your mother, because they only go to the doctor, and that's it.
Well, like we got her out of the house to go get labs done, and walking through the hospital, she had a panic attack, and I had to I had to hold on to her, and I said, "Close your eyes and just concentrate on your lungs, concentrate on the air going in and the air coming out, the air going in and the air going out." And she would do that, and she would come out of it, and I was like, "Okay, are you good to move forward, or you want to stay here for a second?" She'd be like, "I just want to stop for a second." I was like, "Okay, take your time." And then she'd get it together, and she'd be able to do it. And then when we got her both COVID shots, she went through it. The first one, she didn't panic. She didn't have a panic attack going and sitting down in the chair to have the shot. But when we were sitting in the giant room where the chairs are like 8 feet apart from one another, a nurse would come up with a full on mask and the like plastic piece over her face
shield.
Yeah, the face shield. Thank you. She literally looked up and she was like, "No, get away!" Like that's how she acted. And I looked at the nurse and my mom felt super fucking embarrassed by it because it was something that was involuntary to an extent. And I'm extremely happy right now that my mom is seeking a therapist. I want to say about 2 months ago, I think it was after my uncle did what he did. I told her, I said, "You need to talk to your doctor about getting a therapist," straight up. And she was like, "Well, I don't think it's that bad." And I was like, "I think it's that bad. Like, you may be okay to an extent, but this is a traumatizing event. And you were already traumatized from what's going on with the virus. Please seek a therapist." And so she did. And she talked to her doctor, and her doctor was like, "No, I totally agree with your son. Let's schedule you a therapist." And the therapist was like, kind of saying what I was saying, which was like for her to get over the agoraphobia, to take tiny steps, like take a walk around the house, just go outside and sit in the car, things like that.
Yeah.
And she's getting better. She's honestly getting better. The other day we have this giant rug in the dining room on the linoleum that has been pissed and shit on by cats and dogs over the years, to the extent that it was gross to walk on bare feet.
Ugh.
And she was tired of it, so she rolled it up and fucking threw it out.
Good for her.
Oh yeah.
So she's taking baby steps, and that's thanks to her seeing, like, fucking actually talking to her doctor about getting a therapist and talking to that therapist. My dad, he's talking to his doctor again about seeking a therapist because he's falling back into that depression that I can't stand. My little brother, he went and saw a therapist for his anger issues. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Mental health is not just depression. It's not just PTSD. Anytime you have something in your mind that is inhibiting certain parts of your life, that's a mental health issue.
Yeah, for me personally, and this isn't something that people understand, they often don't think that it's real, I guess. I don't deal with depression. I've had one depressive episode in my 42 years of life, and it didn't last more than a couple of months. Once I realized what in the fuck it was, I was like, "Oh shit, hell no," and did what I had to do to struggle my ass up out of it. Mania is my problem. And mania is a serious fucking issue because people don't understand when you're manic, they think, oh, I'd love to have all that energy and feel that good. Yeah, you feel so fucking good. You think you can fucking jump off a roof and live. That's what mania is. You do stupid things you shouldn't do, and you can't justify it, but you still do it anyways. You shop too much, you spend too much money. Yeah, hypersexuality is a huge problem with people who have mania, and thankfully I'm a sapiosexual, so you gotta be really intelligent to catch my eye. So I told Jeff, I was like, there's a reason I married you, honey. It's because you're smart. I love that. And sexy. But yeah, mania it's a very big problem for me. And a lot of people think that I'm just
You're just
exaggerating it.
quirky.
And yeah, it's like, no, I'm not just quirky. Mania is a real fucking thing, and it can really fuck with your life hard. And not being able to take medications is hard because I have to be in constant control and know the signs of what's getting ready to happen. It's like my last little bout of mania was the deck. I wanted that deck cleaned, and it got cleaned. But I mean, I had to focus that energy somewhere, because if I get mania, I can't go to a store because I know I will end up buying stuff I do not need. That is a huge problem. I can't shop online. Uh, I don't go out and drink, which I don't drink anyways now. So, but back then it was more of a problem. One of my largest mania episodes happened while I was at the beach, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I would never, ever, ever wish this on anyone. And people think it's not a thing, but it is. It's just as bad as depression. It's just on the exact polar opposite side. I don't want to be on either polar opposites. I want to find my way to the middle somehow, I think that's what most people are searching for, is a middle ground. But I think it's okay to say you have a mental health problem and you need help. There shouldn't be a stigma. And then we should definitely have more services, because when we mentioned, the public got wind that, hey, we aren't treating our mental health care patients very fucking well in this country. Instead of doing something to fix it, we just shut the system down. And now if you need help, it's so hard to find. If you don't have insurance, if you're not rich and you don't have a community access health center, you're screwed.
That's another thing. I mean, look at where I live. I live what I would jokingly refer to as the taint of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally just, as the bird flies, 5 miles away from the Kentucky state line, 20 minutes by highway. But there is one little community center here that offers behavioral and mental health services. And it's for lower income and uninsured.
Yep.
But
you don't get the best treatment.
You don't get the best treatment. Madison's insured, but that's the only location that she can go.
Yeah.
Because really, there's nothing else here. My therapist is a 90-minute drive away. Jesus. So when I have to go to my therapist in person, it's a 90-minute drive. And then an hour session, and then whatever, I try to schedule it early enough in the day to where we can make a day of it, because I don't want to just go straight over there and straight back. It's like 4 hours of car ride and therapy.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that.
There's been 2 times in my life that I've known I needed to do something to help myself. And the first time, a man who had raped me contacted me on Facebook, and I totally lost my shit.
I don't blame you.
And yeah, it was really, really hard. And that therapist at the community center fucking sucked. And I was like, nope, not doing this. I just took everything and shoved it back in a box and shoved it back in my head and locked it up and hoped nothing would open it back up. And so far, nothing has. And the second time was when I had a doctor tell me that there was absolutely nothing they could do for me and to come back in a wheelchair. I lost my shit. I mean, I was like, because I was going into this doctor thinking I was going to get help with my hip and get it resurfaced. There was nothing there for him to work with. My femoral head is flat as a fucking pancake on the back. Nobody had bothered to mention this to me in the 8 years that I had been seeking help and getting MRIs for this. They were like, oh no, that's normal. I was like, what part of normal? Show me where this is normal. Because when you look at other hips, they're not flat on the other side. They're round all around because it's a ball. It's not supposed to be half a fucking pancake ball. But yeah, I lost my shit. And I ended up in therapy over that. And, you know, because I was like, I need help. If I don't talk to somebody, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, you know. And it did. It helped. It helped me a lot. And that's when I got my bipolar 2 diagnosis and my autism diagnosis. And I'm not ashamed of it. I talk about it. I mean, there's
nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I don't. And it's like I'm a member of a group on Facebook, you know, and I see these things that other people go through because there's so many different kinds of, you know, bipolar disorder. And it hurts my heart, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way their families deal with them, you know, it's so upsetting because I couldn't imagine not trying to understand my child if they were going through a hard time or if they had been diagnosed with something like that. Because I do have a child who is autistic and has gone to therapy. And, you know, I do everything I can to try and understand her and not make her feel like she's the bad guy because she has a mental illness. It's not her problem. You know, I'm sorry I passed this on to you, kid. That's the best I can tell you. You know?
Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people need to also come to grips with is that, and it's something Maya reached on earlier and something that I'm about to reach on. I've gained all of my mental illnesses from my parents. My dad has ADD. I have ADD. My mom suffers from chronic depression. I have chronic depression. Granted, there are good days and bad days and yada yada, but whatever. It's 100% hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big things that I saw a long time ago, this wasn't me personally, but this guy's mom, she committed suicide, and her mental health was in a really, really bad place. And when they did, like, they went back and like looked at her therapy sessions, all this kind of stuff, and the therapist was dog shit. I think he lost his license, but he became increasingly worried that he was going to gain the same problems that she had. And sure enough, he did. But he took steps to put it in place before what happened to his mom happened. Because much like as we've discussed on here, A, privatized medicine is killing people, and B, the absolute fucking apprehension that people have, apprehension, is that the word I'm looking for? Negative stereotypes that people have in regards to mental health issues is so powerful, is so at the forefront that you have to pay attention to that sort of stuff. So you have to put that into context. I remember, you know, this was a couple years ago, but my brothers and I were sitting in my brother and Josh's living room, and Jeff, you know, expressed to Josh and I that he had contemplated suicide, that given the right circumstance, he might have done it. And I know that, you know, knowing my genes, I was gonna say my hereditary, though it's not how you word that. Knowing that, I know that that's a possibility. And I'm glad that my brothers have nipped it in the bud. I'm glad that I've nipped it in the bud to an extent. I still haven't seeked a therapist because, Jesus Christ, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
But that's another step, is like recognizing that you have these problems. I'm not self-diagnosing over here, but my mom has been diagnosed with problems. My brothers have been diagnosed with problems. My dad has been diagnosed with problems. Jesus Christ, I don't have to self-diagnose at this point.
Well, no, and the thing is, even self-diagnosing, you know there's a problem. You know you've got issues. I mean, it's like a lot of the things that I have been diagnosed with, guess who figured it out first? I did. You
Right.
know, I know myself better than anyone. And when something was wrong, I was the first one to go, yeah, this ain't right, you know, and I had to work to figure out what was wrong with me and get somebody else to acknowledge that, yes, there's fucking something wrong with me. But genetically, yeah, I have a lot of things that I could have passed on to my kid and that Jeff could have passed on to her. But I also am the one out of the group that I won a little bit of a genetic lottery because I have a double gene that means I make a shit ton of serotonin. That's why I don't deal with depression. That's why I deal with mania because I don't get depressed. I mean, my brain's constantly pumping out its own serotonin. I'm like the happiest, most positive, upbeat bitch you'll ever meet, you know. I mean, I am the
I'm
optimist.
jealous.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people really are. And it's like it's fascinating. I was like, huh, well, that does explain a lot. Makes sense. I don't think my other sisters got it though, because when they need to talk, they come to me. You know, I'm like Maya. I'm the therapist of the group. You know, if you need to talk, I'm here to listen.
Yeah, I think that's that's another like because my big thing this entire podcast is just like I'm glad that we're sharing things and making a normality of it. But my big thing is I just want people to seek help. I'm tired of people going through these sessions of their life where they're just like, nah, I'm fine. I'm acting different and I'm lashing out, but I'm fine. And I'm like, you're not.
No,
You're
you're not
not.
okay.
You've strained a muscle in your mind and you need to go seek somebody that can help you with it.
And then I see people on my group who are like, you know, well, have you ever thought about getting off the medication because you're doing really well? And it's like, dude, that's when you definitely don't need to get off the medication.
The medication's keeping me well.
Yeah, that's the only reason you feel like you do right now. As soon as you get off it, you're going to go right back to being, you know, out of your fucking mind. And then you have got the people on there like, you can't joke about this. This is serious. And it's like, you know who can joke about being bipolar? People who are bipolar. You know, I mean,
exactly.
If we can't laugh about it, who the fuck can, man? I mean, I gotta laugh about this. I gotta make jokes about it. That's how I deal, and that's okay.
And a lot of therapists will actually tell you that comedy is a great coping mechanism for a lot of trauma. Something that I've found on TikTok that is incredibly funny is I'll give you an example. I saw a TikTok of a mom. She was like, "What did you get for Mother's Day?" "I didn't get nothing." And she walks out to the living room and yells at 2 urns.
Oh God.
It was funny. It was legitimately funny. I mean, it's dark humor, but it's funny.
It is.
And a ton of people in the comments were just like, "That's not okay. That's not right. It's not something to joke about." And she's like, A, it's my kids. B, this is how I'm coping with it. Fuck off. And C, my therapist said this is a great way to cope with it. And it is. Like, it's comedy, dark comedy, making jokes about it is a great way to cope with problems because your mind responds to comedy in a very positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And
laughter is the best medicine, as they say, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny. That's another thing is like, how about we also stop telling people with trauma to just get over it? Like, the fuck is that? No, it's not just get over it.
It'd be like telling Maya, yeah, get over your leg amputation. You know, this isn't a big deal. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Tired of hearing about it. God.
You know, it's if it's a physical thing and people can see it, they tend to be slightly more understanding, more respective. But if they can't see it, it's like, people look at me, they don't think I have any physical, disabilities. I do. And it's like, you want to know why I'm parking close to the cart section at Walmart, as close to the store as I can get without a fucking handicap parking space, because I have a bad hip. I know I only have a limited amount of time that I can walk on this fucker before it gives out on me. But I get dirty looks because people think that I'm young and healthy. It's like, I am so not. I mean, I'd love to have a t-shirt that says, "Don't look at me like this. I'm really fucked up. I promise,"
Well, one of the things that cracks me up all the time with my dad is he vehemently hates when an able-bodied person is in the handicap stall at a bathroom at a public place. And I get why. I totally get why. But what I keep trying to tell him is people aren't using the handicap stall because they want to fuck over handicapped people. They're using it because it's comfortable. It's large, it's comfortable.
It's the most comfortable stall. Before I didn't have, the chunk of leg missing, I would use it anyway, but I would make sure that nobody else was coming in.
It's not specifically you could only use this if you are in the wheelchair. No, it's available for anybody. But it's, if you've got a person who's disabled and there's only that bathroom open, they get it first. You don't get to go in front of them; they get it first. But the cleanest stall in a bathroom, I don't know if y'all know this, if you got to go to a public restroom, the cleanest stall is going to be the first one. It's going to be the first stall because nobody uses the first stall.
I didn't know
that. Weird, huh?
I mean, that makes sense.
I've started using the first stall now because nobody else likes it.
So, fun little fact about me: I'm a very shy pooper. I cannot poop in public.
Oh,
it just
no,
doesn't
I don't
work.
either. Nope.
So
I am so anal retentive. I will hold the diarrhea till I get home.
There's only been a handful of times in my life where I'm like, if I don't go now, I'm gonna go later, and it's not gonna be in a toilet.
Yeah.
But it's usually not very often. But like I've gone to the drive-in, and I'm in the middle of like the first movie, going, I gotta poop, and my body's like, no, you don't.
Nope.
No, the fuck you don't. And I'm like, all right.
Does this look like home to you? Because this says it's not home. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I've stayed at my buddy Andy's house for like 3 days and didn't poop the entire time I was there. And I come home and it's like, boy, toilet, I hope you are ready. It's about to ruin your life.
Yeah, imagine being the anal retentive
because you didn't want to ruin Andy's life
into a relationship. You get constipated for like 2 weeks because you refuse to poo while he's home. That's a girl thing. Period. Most girls are like that. I don't shit. I don't fart, and if I do, it smells like roses. Give it a couple of months, she's gonna be burping and farting and shitting and everything else.
See, that's my metric for like a good friendship-ish relationship is like if you're comfortable just fucking fart, like that's good. You're in a good place.
My God, we had this one friend.
Madison's in a great place then.
Yeah. There was one friend, and I love him to death. I've known him since I was 16. And to this day, he hasn't changed. He's like Homer Simpson. And every Halloween, we would have a bonfire. And he'd always show up in his wife beater, his jean shorts, and he'd be holding a thing of beer under his arm. And when he would burp, his mouth would literally just blah. I was like, oh my God, it's Homer Simpson. Now, ever since then, that's all I can think of when I think of him as Homer Simpson and his lips every time he burps. We have some good bonfires, man. Deke's house is really nice. They have a really big backyard. They call it the back 40. It's got a little creek running through it. And yeah, they usually light someone on fire every year. Not a real person, an effigy. I was one of them.
Oh,
once.
gotcha.
Yeah, they posted a picture of my face on something and burnt it. This is when we were not talking. Yeah, this is after we were.
Oh,
we're good now.
I was like, is this?
He had some
I was like, is this a form of endearment?
Well, I love the boy. I do. We've been friends for so long. But he came home and he's like, I'm not in love with you anymore. And I was like, okay, bye. And he's like, you can still live here. I was like, you don't get the milk for free, okay? It's not happening. And I left that day, Yeah, it took him a few years to get over it and to talk to me again, but we're good now. I mean, he's got his own mental health issues too. I've got them. It's like, I was laughing this morning thinking, God, when you're the bipolar in the family and you're still the sanest one, because it's about how I'm feeling right now.
That's how I imagine my mom feels right now with everything going on. It's a fucking mess, dude, with her family right now. So, well, any further thoughts on the subject, or I don't know how long we've been recording because I know that we had
an hour.
The timer's not right up there.
Well, we started at 16 after, or 16 minutes in. We talked that long before we started going, so right at an hour exactly.
Oh, perfect.
Take a few seconds.
Do we want to wrap it up then? So it's a nice long podcast.
Yeah, I gotta get out of the house today, so.
Yeah, I gotta run to the grocery store and whatnot, so I want to get that done before my events today.
Do your thing.
So everybody, so do we want to review What If every Wednesday? Since they're individual stories and they're like 22 minutes long, it wouldn't, take too much time out of our
I figured
life.
we were going to be doing it, so Jeff wants to watch it too.
I'm very excited about it. They've announced sort of the first 3 episodes, and the first one's going to be Captain Carter. The second one's going to be T'Challa as Star-Lord. And the third one's going to be something about Loki on Earth. I don't know what the question is yet. I just know that those are the first 3 episodes. So
I have a Loki, and she is on Earth. And she's actually on my couch right now. I also have a Milo. They look way too comfortable and relaxed to be such assholes.
Oh, also another question for you guys. Are you, because the Suicide Squad drops today at 7 p.m. Eastern on HBO Max. Do you two plan on watching that?
Wasn't planning on it.
I hadn't even heard about it, so no. But I'm sure Jeff will bring it up.
I'm extremely excited about it. I think it's going to be fucking fantastic. I actually ended up watching the original last night because I hadn't watched it yet.
Ooh, it's bad.
I wouldn't say it was bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bad about it. Don't get me wrong, but
soundtrack's awesome.
Soundtrack is good. I thought Will Smith was fine, but it definitely felt like his contract was like he gets this amount of fucking screen time. I thought that this was the first time I've actually technically seen Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn because I also haven't seen Birds of Prey. Fine in my book.
I didn't like her.
I like her.
You know who
her as Harley Quinn.
You know who I really didn't like in that movie?
Leto as the Joker.
Well, yes, but
I hated him.
It's fucking terrible.
Yep.
Fucking Killer Croc.
Oh,
that was a terrible Killer Croc.
It was. I did like Captain Boomerang. I thought he was good.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. I was gonna say that the characters that are going into the Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller and Rick Flag, Margot
the ones
Robbie
from the first one that are coming back were the best ones.
Yes. Other than like Diablo, but Diablo, he can't technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a terrible movie, but I definitely was like, that's a one-time view forever.
Yep.
But this Suicide Squad, you don't have to watch the first one. I know that. A lot of people have said that. And it's made by James Gunn. And I fucking love James Gunn movies. So I'm very excited about it.
I'll probably watch it this weekend just because. But
yeah. I mean, I
didn't want to watch it for review purposes.
Oh, no. I was just asking if you guys are going to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm excited about it. That's all. I'm just excited about it. So,
Blood Red Sky on Netflix was really good.
Yeah, you said that. I need to watch that. I'm 8 episodes into season 8 of Doctor Who. And I'm trying to at least watch. I'm at least trying to watch an episode a day.
So, season 8, that was
still Matt Smith, I think.
The last Matt Smith season.
No, that's the first
Capaldi season.
First Capaldi season.
Okay, it takes it about 8 or 9 episodes in that first season to he really finds his stride, and once he does, his episodes become amazing.
It definitely feels like, because I think what they're trying to do is that I know with Doctor Who, the audience is supposed to relate to the companion because the Doctor's so weird. And then by the time
Doctor.
Well, no, I'm saying that's the idea behind it. So I can tell that that's what they're doing with season 8 is like Claire is trying to figure out this new Doctor and try to figure out his personality while the audience is. The episode that I just watched, which is called Kill the Moon, I think you know exactly which episode I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The end of that episode and Clara being so pissed off at the Doctor, I was definitely in the realm of how I think the audience was feeling about Peter Capaldi at this point, or the 12th Doctor. I'm excited for next season because I feel like you said, next season is definitely going to be like he hits this fucking perfect, like this is who he is and this is how he's going to like. One of my big things about the Doctor, I should say, the reason that I loved Eccleston, Tennant, and Smith is because of their love for humanity.
Yeah.
So far, Capaldi's Doctor doesn't necessarily inherit that.
He does.
He's a stern daddy. He's a stern daddy. He does it with love. He means it with love.
It feels like an apprehensive care. Like he's like, yeah, I care about humans, but whatever, leave them or take them or leave them. Like that's kind of
his own existential crisis going on because he really shouldn't exist at this point. The whole
true.
It's a fluke, you know. So I'm assuming he's going through his own mental shit of how did this happen.
Well, that was actually a line.
What the hell is this?
That was actually a line.
Why this face? Why this face?
Yeah. Why this face? Why this body? Why this accent? You know, I mean, I think it would. If I thought I was going to die and I came back again, I'd be like, what the fuck just happened? So
there's a line in the beginning of the episode I just was mentioning where he says, you can shoot me and I'll keep coming back. I'll keep regenerating because as far as I know, this is forever.
He's YOLOing, man. I don't care.
Well, let's do it. Personally, that's what I'm loving about this season right now is this, like, the actors trying to figure out their placement with, like, but also the writers trying to figure that out too. That's what I love about Doctor Who, though. Like, every time a new Doctor comes in, you get this cool fucking thing where they're
each unique.
It's so great. I fucking love it. I don't know why I stopped watching. So but I'm trying to catch up with that, watching an episode a day. And so on top of that, and then also like the new stuff that's been coming out, I'm like, ooh. So.
We watched the Fear Street series.
I need to watch that fucking too.
Really fucking good. Really fucking good for R.L. Stine things. Wow, I was impressed. I mean, I thought it was really well done. Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people are saying like the movies are better than his books. So
honestly, that's why I was like, this is R.L. Stine because this is really good.
Oh shit, that's funny. All right, well, so next week, everybody, we're going to be talking about the first episode of What If, which will be What If Peggy Carter Took the Super Soldier Serum. That's the episode title, I believe. It might not be. It might be something slightly different, but we'll be reviewing that next week and probably just shooting the shit again, having the rest will be uninhibited-ish. But thank you guys so much for listening. I have my notes right here. Let me grab them real quick, and here we go. Make sure you follow us on the socials that are listed down below. That's where you'll be able to contact us about recommendations, or if you go to our Teespring store and buy a shirt or a mug or something like that, definitely hit us up on the social medias and let us know you did. And we'll, retweet it and thank the hell out of you because as we've said 1,000 times, all the proceeds from that go right into the podcast. Also, check out the YouTube channel, which is where you can see us live, or not live, but you can see us
in living color.
In living color. You can do what you want. Sorry.
Greg is super cute. Okay.
Wow. Why is that so weird to hear? Like it's like partially a compliment, and my brain just goes, don't like it. I don't know why that's the case. But anyway, yeah, and it helps us out big time by reaching out to other people in the algorithm who, are like, oh, I want to check out a podcast, and then this pops up. So give it a like, give it a follow, make a comment, puts us on other people's pages and whatnot. Other than that, that's all I got written here. Maya, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Facebook under my name. It's a public profile, so if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram or other shows that I'm on, those are linked there. Speaking of other shows that I'm on 2 other podcasts aside from this one. Both are on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. Every other Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Figure Bangin'. It's a live action figure review show. And then every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Nerd Life Syndicate, where we talk about various topics within the entertainment and pop culture industry, ranging anywhere from movies, TV shows, comic books, toys, etc., etc. And that's at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. And great time. Greg's been on several times before, and it's always a good time.
It's fun, yeah.
But yeah, they're live shows. Hop in on YouTube on the live chat and participate. We love interacting with the audience. It's a lot of fun.
My invitation.
You're usually in the bed.
I know.
we go until 11:30 at night,
Yeah,
and you
I'm
always say I go to
snuggled
bed
up
at
with
10.
my audiobook. Yeah. If it's 10:30, trust me, I've already taken my melatonin. Even if I'm on Facebook, I'm getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
But 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm up.
We'd love to have you on a Friday night, but that's the only reason I've never extended an invite, because I know you usually go to bed.
I know. I'm an old woman.
You're younger than us, or me. Anyway, where are you at, Betty?
Right now I'm on my couch. No, you can find me Betty Badger Ogletree on Facebook, and you can find me at The Artistic Unicorn on Etsy. I got some cool little shit that I make over there. So if you want to go check it out, get something, I'll mail it out to you. And other than that, Greg?
You can follow me on all socials under Chub Rock Geek. You can also follow me on Twitch at Chub Rock Geek. And the reason I'm mentioning Twitch out of nowhere is because Jackbox Party Pack 8 is coming out very soon, probably October, when it drops. That being said, what I want to do, and I talked to Betty and Maya, and both seem interested, and I want to get the D&D group that we play with in on it too, if they're available.
Bambi's totally up.
Yeah, she loved playing with us, so
oh yeah,
100% understand that. So I wanted to quickly kind of list off the games that are going to be in Party Pack 8, because I think that they are going to be fucking fun as hell. But what I want to do in September before it comes out is get back into streaming on Saturday nights, so that way we can, gain a little bit of an audience, or people coming back to play with us when Jackbox Party Pack 8 comes out. But the games that are in 8 are Job Job. This one I really like. Is everyone has 3 questions on their phone that they answer honestly. They can, full on give a sentence, whatever. Step 2 is that everybody is given 2 sentences from other players. You then have to take each word in those sentences and make your own answers. Basically, round 1, you'll have 2 sentences on your phone, and they're all going to be separated into different words. So the 2 players will go up on the screen, and a question will be given to them as if it's a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And each player has to take words out of the 2 sentences they were given to give an answer to that question. Every other person that's playing then votes on the best answer. So I think that one's going to be fun. Poll Mine looks interesting. It's kind of like a bracketeering where you're given like a question that's like, what's the best candy bar, right? And then everyone kind of answers a question or answers it. Except in this situation, you're given a multi-choice option. Your team will proceed through the door that was the highest voted on option. So let's say it says which is the best candy bar, and there are 8 options. Everybody on your team then votes. Whatever door happened to be the one you agreed to go through, or the one that was the most voted on, you go through that door. The game is a labyrinth. You have to figure out how to get through the doors, and some doors will give you clues on the correct doors to go through or the right paths to go through. And again, it's split into 2 teams, so you're working with other people.
Teamwork.
I think that one's going to be fun. There's Drawful Animate, which is Drawful with like you get the option to draw your picture like you would in Drawful, and then you can draw a second one on top of it to animate it. So I expect a lot of dicks.
A stylist for this because fingertips just.
That's something I always struggled with playing on the drawing games, like using a mouse and on a mouse pad. It was very difficult. So, but always fun because of how awkward and bad the art would be.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the drawing games are usually fun for the first few weeks before other people will start to join and just draw dicks for no reason. A dick occasionally is fine. But when there's too many dicks, it's not okay. And I'm wording that very specifically.
So says my inbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Inbox is code for.
The other game is called The Wheel of Enormous Proportions. It's a game where everybody answers trivia questions, and if you get the answer correct, you get your name on a giant wheel. At the end of a certain amount of questions, the wheel is spun, and that's how points are going to be divvied out, or extra points are going to be divvied out, is if the wheel lands on your name. So it's got this like it's kind of like Murder Trivia Party, but it's got a scoring system that's a bit based on randomness. So I think that'll be fun.
I'm going to dominate
that game. I can't like that's I feel like that's going to be my favorite game. And then the other game is called Weapons Drawn. And it's partially like so everybody is a murderer and everybody is a detective at the same time. You are given a piece of paper with an initial or a letter from your name that you've submitted into the game. And based on that name, like you'll see like the letter L on the piece of paper, you have to draw a picture that hides the letter. And then as another player, you'll pick up a piece of paper that has a picture on it, and you have to figure out what the letter is inside there. And you're going to be basically, as a detective, you're searching for one other killer. So just you're looking for one other player. If you can discern the letters and figure out who the killer is, you win. But again, everybody's a killer. Yeah. That'll be fun for a little while, but I feel like, and again, I thought of this immediately, people are just going to scribble over their letter. Like,
wow. We should make it a rule that if you join our group, you have to be creative.
I mean, that's why if we play Weapons Drawn, I want to play with a group that I know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so like I said, the reason I was mentioning this, I'm excited about all these games. I think they're going to be fun and interesting. And, if you head over to my Twitch channel, Chub Rock Geek, that's where we'll be doing it. I've learned that like doing it on our newly created one wasn't garnering an audience because it hadn't been established. So if I go live, I already have followers that might join. So yeah, Chub Rock Geek is the
Why
Twitch channel.
Is my mind just so in the gutter today?
What did I say that did that?
Everything is an innuendo to me. I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, why? I've got the brain of a 10-year-old boy today.
In your end, though.
Yeah.
Hey, I got mine.
All right, everybody. Again, what if for next week, first episode. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for listening so much. We love you. Take care of yourself. Okay.
Thank you.
Literally, like we talked about mental health. Please, like seek help if you need it. It's out there. I promise you, it's out
Absolutely.
there. We care
We
about
will
you.
also put links down below when this comes out. So we love you. Peace, love, and Polypops. And take care of yourself.
Well, fuck. What am I going to say now?